Good morning, everyone. The Municipal Planning Commission is conducting this meeting in person and via conference call in accordance with Municipal Government Act Section 199. Council chambers is now open for public attendance in person. However, members may still join meetings remotely using our current teleconference process. As per Wheatland County Policy 7.13, members of the public are not permitted to speak unless the commission agrees to hear from them. If the commission agrees to allow the public to speak, the chair will call upon specific individuals at that time. Please note this call is being recorded and will be uploaded to our website and or social media. For any individuals using the conference call line, we ask that you mute your phone to eliminate background noise. Everyone has a right to be present at Municipal Planning Commission meetings. Any attendees that are considered disruptive to the progression of this meeting may be removed at the discretion of the chair as per Municipal Government Act Section 198. Thank you for your cooperation and understanding. As I understand it, we have Member Clausen joining us via phone, so I will take a roll call vote to start here. Member Eichert is present. Member Link.
Good morning.
Member Kester.
Present.
Member Laurison.
Who?
Member Laurison.
Laurison is
Laurison, sorry. Apologize. Present.
Yep.
Member Bigger.
Present.
Member Laprise.
Present.
Member Clausen. Member Clausen. He's on the line, just not answering.
He hears nothing.
Just take a moment here while we try to straighten out some audio problems. Member Clausen, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much. Technology is fantastic until it isn't.
Exactly. Thank you.
We have an agenda in front of us. Are there any changes, additions, deletions?
I'll move the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Member Laprise. All in favor? Eichert's in favor. Link?
In favor.
Kester?
In favor.
Laurison?
In favor.
Bigger?
Favor.
Laprise?
In favor.
Clausen?
In favor.
Thank you. We have the unapproved minutes for November 14th, 2023. Are there any corrections, changes to be made? If not, Commission's wishes.
I'll move that the minutes be approved as presented.
Thank you very much, Member Link. Eichert's in favor. Link.
In favor.
Kester.
In favor.
Laurison.
In favor.
Bigger.
In favor.
Laprise.
In favor.
Clausen.
In favor.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to development permit applications.
Good morning. I'm Suzanne Hayes, Development Officer with Wheatland County. I will be presenting the first two development permit applications this morning. The first application begins on page 9 of the agenda package. It is for an entertainment venue for weddings, meeting space, and other various events. The location plan is found on page 19 of the agenda package. It is located approximately 4 kilometers south of Strathmore, 1.6 kilometers west of Highway 817 on the west side of Range Road 253. On the same page, we have the circulation map which was circulated to landowners within 1 mile. We did not receive any responses. An agency circulation was completed. We didn't receive responses from the WID or AHS. However, they had responded to the rezoning. So I'll just read those responses. The WID said that no concerns, but will address the possibility of adding barriers at the canal crossing with the landowner if required. And AHS had several comments, but in summary, they wanted to be made aware of future developments, particularly with respect to any food establishments or personal service. Also that they may require on-site inspections and that the water sources may require bacteriological sampling. And this is already being completed due to the bed and breakfast already. So internal comments, fire services stated that a fire inspection would be required. That has already been completed. Economic development said if other concerns such as impacts of noise and traffic have been satisfied, this fits with economic development goals for small business and tourism. The manager of operations said with the anticipated post-development traffic volumes increases noted within the TIA, it is recommended by the Transportation Department that the applicant be responsible to provide dust control annually in the form of calcium chloride or a county-approved equivalent for the entirety of Range Road 253 from Township Road 234 to Township Road 240. He also provided another option for MPC to consider, that they be responsible to provide dust control annually in the form of calcium chloride or an equivalent to be centrally located in front of each and every residence located on Range Road 253 from Township Road 234 to Township Road 234 to Township Road 240 for a minimum distance of 200 meters and for 200 meters leading from each intersection. Pages 20 through 22, we have the site plan and some aerial photos, just some details. So on October 17th, Council approved the redesignation of the parcel from Ag General to Rural Business District. The site is currently developed with a dwelling and detached garage, as well as a concrete pad and outdoor patio space that are used for outdoor events and entertaining. The proposal is that wedding ceremonies will typically take place outside, weather permitting. Receptions and larger events are to be held on weekends only in the existing 40 by 100 tent, which has a maximum capacity of 200 guests, but most weddings are estimated to be 90 to 120 guests. Receptions will take place from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with last call and music ending at midnight. The wedding season will be from mid-May to September 30th. There is a 10-stall unserviced camping area available for guests for use during an event for a maximum 2-night stay. A campground is not typically a use allowed in the RB district, but it will only be used for event patrons and in a very restricted capacity. So we have considered it to be an accessory to the entertainment venue. A condition has been added to ensure the camping area will only be used by guests of an event during an event and for the sole use of camping and not used for the sole use of camping. Smaller events will be held within the owner's dwelling to a maximum of 2 events per week on weekdays, and guests will exit the property by 10 p.m. So the site plan shows a number of trees. This illustrates how the existing and proposed landscaping will be used to create visual barriers and reduce onlook from adjacent properties. Also, they have planted over 100 trees lining the inside of the fence to create a barrier between the venue and the main road. And 25 columnar trees were planted alongside of the tent for sound and wind blockage. Another 48 blue spruce of 5 feet or taller were planted in the spring of 2023. Some photos of the property are on pages 24 to 27. A TIA was completed, which did not recommend any road upgrades. However, the county's transportation department is recommending dust control. Water and wastewater servicing are provided by means of a private well and sewage treatment system. Bottled water will be available to guests attending an event, and there will be a 7-stall bathroom trailer will remain permanently on the property. Some things to consider. The proposal is in alignment with the MDP and LUB as it supports commercial industrial development goals, and there were no written complaints from adjacent landowners. Staff's recommendation is found on pages 10 through 13. Staff are recommending that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2023-168 for the entertainment venue, subject to the conditions. This permit also includes the event tent and bathroom trailer. And the conditions include the requirement for a building inspection, fire inspection, specific hours of operation, and a condition regarding noise. A condition regarding the camping area with several requirements, and condition 18 regarding dust control. An alternate condition was also created, which I will have on hand should MPC choose the alternate dust control option. So MPC has the standard 3 response options, which are found on page 17. And that concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have questions.
Thank you, Suzanne. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Larson.
I just have a question about the dust control. That seems to be a bit of an onerous request on the part of the people that are going to be doing this. Is there a option that's better than that?
There is another option. So this option where it's a solid line of dust control, which, let me just find the map here. So there's this option where it's the solid line of dust control. That goes for approximately 3,100 meters. And then the other option is that dust control is only applied in front of each residence for 200 meters in front of each residence. And that would look something like this. So all the green areas, that would be approximately 1,960 feet or meters, sorry. So that's the alternate option.
I think the alternate option is better for them. It would, I believe, would cost them less money. Is that a fair statement?
It would cost them less money. It would cost approximately $6,000 less annually.
I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2023-168 for an entertainment venue, subject to the following conditions, with condition 18 being the alternate recommendation.
Thank you, Member Laprise. Discussion.
I guess I do have one question about noise mitigation. So our bylaw, well, this would allow them to have music until midnight. But if it was excessively loud before midnight, is there anything?
We have put some provisions in condition 14 about excessive noise. So they will also be subject to the noise bylaw, but we've also put it in a condition so that we can we can treat it as one of the infractions of the conditions. So it says in here, like, we would consider the nature of the noise, the volume of the noise, the time and the day of a week, and whether the noise is occurring outside of the operating hours. So we would enforce it as a contravention of the development permit condition, as well as we could enforce it under the noise bylaw.
Okay, thank you.
So this being in my division, my area has caused a little bit of consternation. It's unfortunate that I've got correspondence that I've talked to people that several of them claim they didn't get the letter for this DP, so they didn't have time to respond. A couple of them said they got the letter and they forgot to respond because their lives are busy, and I understand that. And I want to congratulate administration for doing what you've done. It's really good. And I'm going through this thing and I'm going, this is all really good, and keeping in mind with the discussions I've had with the majority of the people in the area, they're okay with this. The problem they have is item number 17, the camping. And I look at it and go, there's no problem with the noise mitigation. That's easy enough to look at. Hours of operation, that's this, but this camping thing, this could be a very, very difficult thing to, like, how do you tell if somebody's been there for 2 days or 3 days? How do you tell if they move a site over? Does that change anything? I mean, I guarantee you that the majority of the people in my area are 100% behind this if we strike the camping. There's camping in Strathmore. There's and I don't want to be the Grinch kind of thing. I am just expressing what I have been told, and it sort of does make, so like I said, it's unfortunate that the neighbors in the area, because in my area, it's one of the densest populated areas. There's quite a few houses on that road. There's quite a few people in the immediate area, and anyway, so I would like the commission to consider taking out 17. I don't think the camping is necessary to the operation. I think it's the one that's going to cause the most amount of problems, and I think that it's the one that's going to be the hardest part to enforce. Yes.
Since most of you guys know that, I mean, this is how we started our business at Aspen. Is I started doing wedding venues, and the fact that the camping was there, it improved everything from mostly from the thoughts of people driving after they've had a few drinks, and the getting ready for the weddings. It was a request that came from our customers, so I imagine they've had a lot of requests for it too. I don't have a problem with the camping. Even if they move sites, I mean, it's not a camping location really. There's not much to do there. I can't see them wanting to stay for more than a few nights. The fact that they're going in on Friday and leaving on Sunday is actually more of a hindrance to the neighbors. But if you're mitigating dust control, that's a good thing. I think it helps the business. I think tourism, this meets tourism, and I'm okay with the biggest problem that we had with the camping was the dogs. At one point, I think when we first started, we had more dogs than we had people there. So you've actually mitigated that too. So I have no problem with the development.
Thank you, Member Bigger. Member Link.
Just a question for the concerns that have been raised about camping. What sort of impacts to adjacent landowners have been raised? Like, is there a way that we could mitigate them through additional conditions? Because I do see Member Bigger's points around like mitigating impaired driving, as well as the convenience factor. But we did see letters at redesignation as well that expressed concerns about the camping and the potential for that to escalate. It is specified that it is for event patrons in the conditions, and I respect what you're saying too around the enforcement could be challenging, because do we have capacity to be monitoring the length of stay and those types of things? But what are the impacts? Is it noise? Is it?
The impacts are there's the campers getting in and out, as Member Bigger has said. If we can limit this so that there are no pets, then that'll really cut down. I mean, the people right across the road from them have hundreds of cows. Cows and dogs are a horrible combination. So if we can somehow enforce this, but what happens if there's a violation? What I'm worried about is if there's a violation and somebody brings dogs, and there's a complaint, is this whole DP? I don't want this thing to go away. I just don't want this whole thing to go away because there's an infraction. I mean, I really like, this is a great idea. We need tourism. This is a great thing. But the neighbors are going to be very vigilant, and there has to be consequences if you break the law. So what are the consequences? Like, what happens if somebody sneaks a dog in and that dog causes problems? What happens to this DP?
Normally, for a development permit, if somebody contravenes the conditions, we can revoke the development permit. But you're saying you'd rather not that, you'd rather just revoke a condition, this particular condition?
Yeah, exactly. I see this is going to
You can
be,
do that.
I see this is going to be the biggest problem for everybody that's here. And I'm just thinking that you know me, I like the easiest of solutions. So if we get rid of it, then we don't have to worry about it. So I mean, the owners have to understand that they are going to have a lot of eyes on them for the first little while, like until they can prove themselves. Yes.
So just to clarify between what the development officer and what you were saying, were you suggesting, because we have a condition under the camping, under section 17, no pets are allowed in the camping area at any time. Are you suggesting, is sort of what's being discussed, that the ability to have camping on site, that section of the development permit would be revoked if, for example, there was a contravention of the pets in the camping area? Like, would your ratepayers be comfortable with leaving the camping in as sort of to demonstrate that all conditions are being followed, that there aren't animals, noise is being addressed, dust is being, like, I was kind of trying to go through what could some of the offsite impacts to adjacent landowners be? How can we address those? And I had reviewed the letters from the redesignation as well. And I think administration has done a phenomenal job of putting mitigating conditions in to minimize. There is always impacts with development to adjacent landowners, but to minimize and mitigate that to the extent possible. Would you be comfortable with the camping area being included, given the strength of the conditions that are included? And then are you suggesting that we could somehow have some verbiage where that part of the DP would be revoked if there was an infraction with the camping section. Like obviously if there's an infraction outside of the camping, that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are aware that there's no pets allowed?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
What I'm trying to clarify is if, like, because member Eichert is representative of the area, if from like the feedback you have gathered, if all of these conditions are followed, if you would be comfortable with that, representing the concerns that have been expressed. And then like specifically the pets issue has been raised. We do clearly have a condition precluding that. What I was wondering is if when you were saying like we could revoke just a section rather than removing, like I didn't want there to be a misunderstanding that we were removing the condition of the pets, because I do hear that from ratepayers. Livestock health is critical, and we are an agricultural municipality, and we need to prioritize that. But because they are not permitted in the camping area, is that?
If it was possible to do something like that, I know that it would, like, I am going by, you have to, you know, what I'm saying, like, I could be lying to you, right? Because the ratepayers haven't presented letters to the contrary. But if there could be something that 17 gets left in, and if there's a contravention of 17, that there's pets running large, and that 17 gets revoked and everything else stays the same, I am happy with that. We have gone above and beyond. That gives everybody opportunities. I mean, I honestly don't believe the owners are going to intentionally do this, but I understand human nature and people going out there, well, I have to go get a dog sitter and all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to leave my dog. I'm just going to hide my dog, and it's not going to, you know, people do stupid things. And I just don't want, you know, this whole thing to get thrown out in the air just because. So if we could do something like Member Link proposes, that would be, I think everybody, it's a win-win, I think.
I won't take credit for it. Our administration came up with it. I just wanted to clarify. I just wanted to make sure we weren't talking about removing that condition, because I do think it's an important condition. But yeah, I do like that idea. And I'd support your focus on not potentially compromising the development if there was an infraction around the camping.
Right.
Through the chair to the committee, we could, rather than revoking the entire DP, is amend the DP. But for the option to allow flexibility also for the applicant, because typically they could have appealed some of the conditions. This one's a little tighter because it's tied strictly to the definition with entertainment venue. It's not camping allowed outside. So what we would do is bring back an amendment for the MPC if it comes to that type of infraction, for the DP to be amended at that by the committee and not by administration, depending on the severity of the violations.
Okay, so just, we'd pass it the way it is right now, and then if there's a problem, if there's a complaint, then it would come back to.
Yes, through the chair to the committee. When you say a complaint, we investigate all complaints, but we would look beyond, is there a pattern? It wouldn't be just for one complaint. We would have looked over a period of time of the operation and seen how many complaints, how extreme the complaint, because as you're aware, some of it is subjective with the noise alone. So we would look into it more and beyond just the one complaint. So we would look for a pattern. Is it something that's continuously occurring? Is the camping creating a problem more than, or is it just a one-off? So we would allow it time to operate.
Thank you for that. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call the vote. Councillor Clausen,
In favor.
Councillor Laprise,
In favor?
Councillor Bigger,
In favor?
Councillor Larson,
In favor?
Councillor Kester. In favor. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Member Kester, I'm sorry, I've screwed that up. Member Link,
In favor.
And I am in favor of this, so that is passed. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Suzanne.
This application is for the same property, and it is for a bed and breakfast within the existing dwelling. On page 34 of the agenda package, we see the location map. Same location, as I mentioned. Same circulation area. We didn't receive any responses. The WID had the same comments, and AHS said they currently have an active B&B food permit and accommodation file with the applicant, where it is on a routine frequency and will continue to work with the applicant. Pages 35 and 36 again are the site plan. And some photos begin on page 37. This application is to facilitate a bed and breakfast within the existing 5-bedroom dwelling. The land use bylaw stipulates a maximum of 4 commercial units. The rooms will be available year-round for a minimum 2-night stay with a maximum of 10 people. Equestrian activities will be available, such as carriage rides, wagon rides, and sleigh rides. Additional activities will include campfires, nature walks, or ice skating. Massages will be offered in a spa room. The kitchen and spa room will require routine inspections by Alberta Health Services, which have been occurring already. The landowners will manage the daily operations with casual help hired as required. Pages 28 and 29 have staff's recommendation, which is to approve this application for a bed and breakfast subject to the conditions, which include the fire inspection, which has been already completed, documentation from AHS, which has also been completed, and then they will need a building inspection and signage to prevent visitors from going on neighboring properties, going for walks and such. So that concludes my presentation. The standard 3 options are found on page 21, not 21, page 17. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. MPC's wishes. Yes. Oh, sorry, Member Larson.
I will move that the Municipal Planning Commission approve DP 2023-172 for a bed and breakfast subject to conditions 1 through 12.
Thank you very much. Discussion. Yes.
Just a comment. Place looks beautiful. I'm glad that, very excited for your tourism. Proud of your entrepreneurship in whatever. And I remember how exciting it was when we started doing these kind of things. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. So I agree with the proposal.
I just have one question on the carriage rides and wagon rides. That stays on the property?
The intention is that it would stay on the property. I don't believe there's any indication they would go on roads or anything like that.
And the only reason I say that is 253 is very sort of enclosed in, very tight. It's an old road that probably needs some reclamation work on it. So, okay, thank you. I will, any more discussion? If there's none, I will call the vote. Member Clausen?
In favor.
Member Laprise?
In favor.
Member Bigger?
In favor?
Member Larson?
In favor.
Member Kester? In favor. Member Link?
In favor.
And I am in favor. That is passed. We will move on to DP 2023-169.
Good morning, MPC. I am Rachel Hansen-Beaton with the Planning and Development Services Department, here to present Development Permit Application DP 2023-169 for a dwelling accessory. The property is located approximately 1 mile west of Nameka on 1 mile north of Township Road 232. The application has been circulated internally and to adjacent surrounding properties within a 1 mile radius, as shown on page 47, with no external responses. The agricultural and environment manager provided a statement but did not raise concerns if a new dwelling is built per the application. Pages 48 and 49 show the site plan. The application is to conduct a new 1,920 square foot dwelling, including attached garage, on a parcel which currently has an existing 1,733 square foot residence. The land use bylaw stipulates that the accessory dwelling will not be larger than 80% of the size of the primary dwelling. Therefore, the two dwellings will be defined in reverse. The new dwelling will be defined as the primary dwelling, and the existing residence will be the new accessory dwelling. The application meets all other requirements of the land use bylaw. The new dwelling will share the existing well and approach, and a new septic system will be installed. Pages 50 and 51 contain pictures of the new dwelling, of the two dwellings. So this is the new, and this is the existing. In conclusion, staff recommend the Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit DP 2023-169 for the proposed dwelling accessory conditions with conditions 1 through 7 found on pages 41 and 42. MPC has a standard 3 responses found on page 45, and this concludes my presentation. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Link.
I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit 2023-169 for an accessory dwelling subject to conditions 1 through 7 as presented in the RFD.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Eichert's in favor. Member Link.
In favor.
Member Kester. In favor. Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Bigger.
In favor?
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
Thank you. That is passed. We'll move on to DP 23-171.
Good morning again, Rachel Hansen-Beaton with Planning and Development Services Department, here to present development permit application DP 2023-171 for agricultural processing major for the purpose of roasting and packaging various products for resale. The property is located 12 kilometers east of Azar, 1.5 miles north of Highway 561 on the east side of Range Road 185. The application has been circulated internally and to adjacent surrounding property owners within a 1 mile radius, shown on page 57, with no external responses. Economic Development did say that this would be a good fit for the county's economic development goals. Pages 58 and 59 show the site plan. This application is for a facility to roast, package, and sell a variety of grains, seeds, coffee, proteins, and peanuts, and other types of nuts. In February of 2023, the applicant received a permit for agricultural processing minor, allowing them to roast, package, and sell grains and seeds which were grown on the farm. The proposed expansion would allow them to import products such as nuts or coffee from other countries, which they would roast, package, and sell wholesale to stores for resale. The change to process products from outside sources requires a development permit for agricultural processing major. There will be approximately 3 colony members employed in the business. Hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 5 days a week. Employee numbers may increase depending on demand. There will be no customers visiting the site. Products will be dropped off and are delivered 1 to 2 times per day. This facility already obtained a change of use building permit. There is no odor, noise, or nuisances associated with the process, and fire inspection was completed of this facility with no issues identified. The company holds a current license with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. The roasting process does not require any water. The only water usage is for the bathrooms and washing of tubs and equipment. A septic tank is used for collection of wastewater for these uses. The parcel is accessed by Range Road 185, which is not developed beyond the access of the subject property. There are no other residents on the road. The colony owns all the other lands adjacent to Range Road on both sides. Pages 60 show pictures of the facility. Some considerations: the application aligns with the MDP and the LUB. In conclusion, staff recommend that Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit DP 2023-171 for agricultural processing major with conditions 1 through 8 found on page 53. MPC has the standard 3 responses found on page 55. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Larson.
I'll move that the MPC approve DP 2023-171 for agriculture processing major subject to conditions 1 through 8.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, I just want to say, like, anytime I see value added to farm product, it's a great thing. I believe that it's one more way to help your bottom line. So this, I believe, is a really good idea. I will, any other discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. I'm in, Member Eichert's in favor, Member Link,
In favor.
Member Kester, Member Larson,
In favor.
Member Bigger,
Favor?
Member Laprise,
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to DP 2023-175.
Good morning again. Rachel Hansen-Beaton with Planning Development Services to present development permit application DP 2023-175 for a variance request for 3 existing sheds. The property is located 12 kilometers east of Azar, 1.5 miles north of Highway 561 on east side of Range Road 185. The application has been circulated internally and to the adjacent surrounding properties within 1 mile radius and WID as shown on page 66. There was 1 external letter in favor of the variance, and fire services and WID expressed no concerns or objections. Pages 67 to 70 show the site plan and pictures of the sheds. This application is intended to address the non-compliant structures located on the subject lands. A letter of compliance identified 3 building structures that did not meet the required setbacks. The real property report depicted a wooden shed with 2 small metal sheds on each side of it with no separation between them as further described below. Accessory structures, buildings that are less than 100 square feet are not required to obtain a development permit provided that the structures and buildings meet the minimum setbacks within land use district. In order to obtain a compliant status, the non-compliant structures may either be removed from the parcel, a permit may be issued with the requirement that the structures be moved into compliance, or approval of development permit with a variance to the setbacks is required. This application has been made to request a variance to the setbacks for the 3 existing sheds. In conclusion, staff recommend that Municipal Planning Commission approve development permit DP 2023-175 for a variance request for the 3 existing sheds with conditions 1 through 4 found on page 62. MPC has the standard response options found on page 64. This concludes my presentation. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Rachel. MPC's wishes.
A question, Chair?
Yes, Member Clausen.
Thanks. In the report, it said that this location was by Hazar, but the paperwork I have say it's Ardnode. Just want to confirm.
Sorry, that was my error. Let me just go back to there. I apologize.
No worries. Just want to make sure. I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation.
Yes, that was my error. So it's 20 meters west of the community of Ardnode and Range Road 253 on the south side of Township Road 253A.
So you're moving the recommendation, including including conditions 1 through 4? Member Clausen?
Yes, as presented.
Okay, thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akerts in favor, Member Link,
In favor.
Member Kester,
In favor.
Member Larson,
In favor.
Member Bigger,
In favor?
Member Laprise,
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to subdivision applications. 3.1, SD 2023-022.
Hi, Jessica Russell presenting subdivision application SD 2023-022 to subdivide a plus or minus 18.01 hectare portion of land from the northwest quarter of Section 8, Township 25, Range 24, west of the 4th Meridian. The subject lands are located approximately 3.25 kilometers south of the hamlet of Nightingale, immediately south of Township Road 252, and immediately east of Range Road 245. The purpose of the application is, or purpose of the proposal, pardon me, is to facilitate continued residential and agricultural uses. The application proposes to subdivide a plus or minus 18.01 hectare parcel, Lot 1, from the quarter section, creating a plus or minus 42.27 hectare remainder. Lot 1 is accessed by an existing approach from Range Road 245. The proposed parcel contains a dwelling and pasture land serviced by a private well and wastewater system. The remainder parcel is accessed by a separate existing approach from Range Road 245 and will remain agricultural with no plans for further development. The proposal is consistent with the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, the Regional Growth Management Strategy, the Municipal Development Plan, and the Land Use Bylaw. Pursuant to Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve is not required. Lot 1 is located on a quarter section that has been previously subdivided. However, Section 663B of the MGA states that reserves are not required if the land is to be subdivided into lots of 16 hectares or more and used for agricultural purposes. Lots 1 and 2 are greater than 16 hectares and will be used for continued pasture land and agricultural uses respectively. Therefore, municipal reserve for lots 1 and 2 is not required. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2023-022, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. This concludes the presentation of subdivision application SD 2023-022. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. MPC's wishes.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion that we approve subdivision 2023-022 as presented.
Thank you, Member Clausen. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akerts in favor, Member Link,
In favor.
Member Kester,
In favor.
Member Larson,
In favor.
Member Bigger,
Favor?
Member Laprise,
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to SD 2023-026.
Jessica Russell presenting subdivision application SD 2023-026 to adjust the boundaries between the northeast and southeast quarters of Section 2, Township 23, Range 24, west of the 4th Meridian. The subject lands are located 9 kilometers south of the town of Strathmore, northwest of the intersection of Township Road 230 and Range Road 251. The purpose of the proposal is to provide legal and physical access to Lot 1 in order to facilitate continued agricultural uses. The application proposes to adjust the boundaries between the subject parcels, resulting in a plus or minus 33.32 hectare parcel, Lot 1, and a plus or minus 54.42 hectare parcel, Lot 2. A plus or minus 1.2 hectare portion of land is proposed to transfer from Lot 2 to Lot 1. Lot 1 does not have legal or physical access to a road right-of-way. Access to Lot 1 is proposed by a new approach to Range Road 251, accommodated by the boundary adjustment. Lot 2 is accessed by an existing approach from Township Road 230. Lots 1 and 2 will remain agricultural with no plans for further development. The proposal is consistent with the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, the Regional Growth Management Strategy, the Municipal Development Plan, and the Land Use Bylaw. Pursuant to the Municipal Government Act, municipal reserve is not required. Lots 1 and 2 are located on quarter sections that have been previously subdivided. However, Section 663B of the MGA states that reserves are not required if the land is to be subdivided into lots of 16 hectares or more and used for agricultural purposes. Lots 1 and 2 are greater than 16 hectares and will be used for continued agricultural uses. Therefore, municipal reserve for lots 1 and 2 are not required. Administration is recommending that the Municipal Planning Commission approve subdivision application SD 2023-026, subject to the conditions noted in the planning report. This concludes the presentation of subdivision application SD 2023-026. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. 1 second here. Where am I at? I'll move that Municipal Planning Commission approve the subdivision application SD 2023-026, subject to the conditions 1 through 4. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Eichert's in favor. Member Link?
I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
Is there legal access to that parcel?
Yeah.
Yes. Then why are we subdividing?
Well, no, I think if you look at on page 87, I believe that shows where the range, where the road will, where the approach will come in.
I think it had been previously subdivided, right? This is a boundary adjustment or not? No? Yeah, that's correct. So somehow it got subdivided without access previously, is my understanding. So now that needs access.
Yeah.
It was an error, I would imagine.
That's going to be the access point then.
Any other discussion? Again, I'll call the vote.
Just for clarity, it's in
Okay, sorry.
condition. Just for clarity, it's in condition 4 that access will, the approaches to lots 1 and 2 shall be required to meet county standards. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Akers in favor. Member Link?
In favor.
Member Kester?
In favor?
Member Larson?
In favor.
Member Bigger?
In favor?
Member Laprise?
In favor.
Member Clausen?
In favor.
Thank you very much. That's passed. We'll move on to SD 3.3 SD 2023-023.
Good morning, MPC. Taylor Feltz here with the county's Planning and Development Services team. I'll be presenting the next 2 applications for MPC's consideration. Subdivision application SD 2023-023 proposes to create a 5.14 acre parcel with a 135.16 acre remainder within Southwest 9, 2524 west of the 4th Meridian. Referring to page 96 of the agenda package, you can locate the land's 6.5 kilometers northeast of the town of Strathmore, 1.65 kilometers south of the intersection of Township Road 252 and Range Road 244 on the east side of Range Road 244. Both the proposed and remainder parcel will remain within the Agricultural General Land Use District, if approved, which is an appropriate designation in accordance with the county's land use bylaw. The proposed lot 1 is developed with a dwelling. The dwelling is serviced by an existing well and private septic treatment system, and access is provided by an existing approach to Range Road 244 to the west. The proposed remainder lot 2 is used for agricultural production and is not serviced with water or wastewater infrastructure at this time. Lot 2 is accessed by 3 existing approaches off Range Road 244. Administration circulated the application to external stakeholders and neighbors within a 1-mile radius of the parcel, and no objections were received by staff. The applicant's proposal generally aligns with the provincial and county statutory plans, as well as the county's land use bylaw. Dedication of municipal reserves are not required for this proposal, as it considers the first parcel to be subdivided from the quarter section. And with that, administration is recommending that MPC approve subdivision application SD 2023-023, subject to the conditions found on pages 91 and 92 of the agenda package, which I have back up on the screen here. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Taylor. MPC's wishes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve as presented SD 2023-023.
Thank you, Member Clausen. Discussion. Seeing and hearing none, I will call the vote. Member Eichert's in favor. Member Link.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Bigger.
In favor.
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
That is passed. Thank you very much. We will move on to 3.4 SD 23 or SD 2023-025.
Subdivision application SD 2023-025 proposes to create a 5.10 acre parcel with a 154.9 acre remainder within Northwest 72420 west of the 4th meridian. The proposal considers the first parcel to be subdivided from the quarter section, and both parcels, if approved, will remain in the agricultural general land use district. Referring to page 105 of your agenda package, you can locate the proposed subdivision 7 kilometers west of the hamlet of Hazar, immediately southeast of the intersection of Highway 561 and Range Road 210. The proposed parcels, as I mentioned, will both remain AG. The proposed lot 1 that I have up on the screen here is developed with a dwelling, several farm and accessory buildings, and grain bins. Servicing is provided by means of an existing well and private septic treatment system, and access is provided via an existing approach to Range Road 210 to the west. The proposed remainder lot 2 is undeveloped and used for agricultural purposes, and access is provided via an existing approach to Range Road 210 as well. Administration circulated the application to adjacent landowners and external stakeholders within a 1-mile radius, and no objections were received. The proposal generally aligns with the county's statutory plans as well as that of the province and those policies outlined in the county's land use bylaw. With that, administration is recommending that MPC approve subdivision application SD 2023-025, subject to the conditions found on page 100 and 101, which I have back here on the screen. And that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Taylor. MPC's wishes. Yes, Member Larson.
I don't know if we need to change it, but you've got Hazar in there as a hamlet. It's a village. I don't know if that'll change anything.
Through the chair, you're right. That was my mistake. Okay. It shouldn't have any effect.
With that correction, I will move that the MPC approve subdivision application SD 2023-025, subject to conditions 1 through 6 on page 100 and 101 of the package.
Thank you. Discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the vote. Member Akert's in favor. Member Link.
In favor.
Member Kester.
In favor.
Member Larson.
In favor.
Member Baker.
Favor?
Member Laprise.
In favor.
Member Clausen.
In favor.
That is passed. That concludes this session. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.